Hey guys, I'm Sage Valentine and I'm back here to do another recap slash review of AMC's The Walking Dead Season 9. This review video is all about Episode 9 entitled Adaptation. So pretty much I'm one of the last of the Mohicans still watching The Walking Dead. I made a promise to myself that I would continue watching this series and ride this train until the wheels fell off. And I just heard recently that Denai Guerrera is supposedly stepping down from The Walking Dead after season 10. Nothing is set in stone, and I try not to listen to these blogs when they come out with information. I need to hear it from the horse's mouth, so I'm going to wait and sit back and see how it goes. But if that's true, it's sad news. But I didn't give up the show after Glenn died, so I'm not going to give up the show after Michonne died. And part of me does not believe that Michonne is going to be killed off. I believe like Michonne's going to be sent off somewhere and pop up a couple times, because word on the street is that Maggie, aka Lauren Cohan, is supposed to be popping up in season 10. So I'm just going to sit back and wait. And for those of you who don't know, Dwight's character was sent to Fear the Walking Dead, so he's a part of that cast now. That cast is definitely bustling with characters. And I don't blame Austin for being okay with that, because now he doesn't have to deal with what will happen at the end of this season. This story arc, as I said in my previous recaps and reviews, was that I love this story arc. I'm a big fan of it, and it is what it is. A lot of people are not here for Negan being alive, still walking around, the group's still dealing with him. But you guys are going to miss the crazy that is Negan, because now that Alpha's here, it's about to get wild, really wild. So hearing Michonne do the narration in the opening of the episode was pretty epic. It's nice to hear her voice, although I do miss Andrew Lincoln's voice, I'm not going to lie. Rest in peace, Jesus. For those of you who thought that Jesus got stabbed and he survived, no honey, Jesus has gone to another place. And I heard that Tom got engaged, I think, recently. I was looking on social media and I think he got engaged, and he's supposed to be appearing on either a movie or a TV show. When I get more information on that, I'll let you guys know about it. So the story basically picked up where it left off. That entire scene was spooky, including the part where the Whisperer decided to open the gate and let everybody out. The choice of horror movie commercials, and commercials including Sonequa Martin Green in the CBS All Access commercial, and Lauren Cohan in her new series that's coming soon to TGIT, which is like Thursdays on ABC. Also, for those of you who don't know, Tyler James Williams, aka Noah, is also a part of that series, but you won't see it unless you watch one of the trailers, because they show the commercials, but they don't show that commercial where he's sitting in the back seat of the car with her and Jake from Scandal. But anyway, awesome idea, AMC, to put those commercials with the horror movie commercials. I feel like Negan's whole arc in this episode is a nod to what happens to Negan in the comics. At one point, there is a story in the comics where Negan talks about how he had an opportunity to go free. So to see him walking around and going through Michonne's house, as creepy as that whole scene was, to me it feels like a nod back to the comics. Now, make no mistake, Judith let Negan go because she wanted to, not because she can't shoot. I saw people on Twitter talking about, oh, she let him go because she can't shoot it. She's not strong enough to fire that gun. Later on in this episode, it shows that yes, that child is strong enough to fire that gun. She is her mother's daughter, she is her father's daughter, she is Carl's sister, and she is Michonne's stepdaughter. Yeah, she was raised right. This episode shows us the human side of Negan. A lot of people don't want to see that side of Negan. I didn't when I read the comics, but I got used to it. Judith warned Negan that there was nothing out there for him or anyone else. And essentially she was right. She knew that he was in her room and he took her compass. I love this kid. And she tells him, listen, if I see you again, I'm going to shoot. And she definitely did. I feel like the character of Luke is not long for this world. I have a feeling that his character is going to be killed off soon. I've been having that feeling ever since he was introduced. There's just something too pure and sweet and cinnamon rolly about Luke, and I feel like that character is not going to be here very long. Tara, Marco, Alden, Enid, and that other guy with the beard, I can't think of that character's name, they want to send out a search party for Michonne and the crew and Magna and Yumiko and Eugene. Luke all of a sudden pops up and is just like, I want to help, and they look at him, they're skeptical. I was skeptical too, like, you know, can you really do this? Can you handle this? Can you handle what's coming? Can you handle anything other than being in a group, Luke? I don't think so. Meanwhile, Michonne and the crew are heading back. They're trying to put miles between themselves and the Whisperers. Michonne tells Daryl that she and Judith vouched for Magna and Yumiko, and Michonne tells him a shortened version of the story about how Judith found Yumiko, Magna, Connie, Kelly, and Luke. Daryl apologizes for not being able to bury Rick, and Michonne thanks him for trying to, and she also thanks him for after. Whatever the heck that means. Supposedly we're going to find out what happened after. I'm waiting for that, because that whole situation is bothering me. The crew faces a small herd made up of some whisperers, one of which becomes chow for another whisperer. No, one of which becomes chow for the walkers, thanks to Daryl and his arrows. A new face appears, or should I say is forcibly unmasked, and Michonne wants to interrogate her, but there's a herd approaching and they gotta go. Negan is out and about wearing Rick's beige shirt. He gets a chance to see what the world has become outside of the walls after 6 years. Seeing him navigate it without Lucille and facing some really cool burnt walkers. It's weird to see him without Lucille and his leather jacket anyway. He drinks some muddy water, and then he ends up vomiting near the very spot where he killed Abraham and Glenn. I'm assuming that that's the writer's way of showing us that he feels remorse for what he's done. I don't feel sorry for Negan. Not at all. Michonne, Daryl, and the crew and dog return with Eugene, Jesus' dead body, and the new Walker chick, aka Lydia. Her name's Lydia. It's a sad scene and a somber one as everyone at the hilltop sees Jesus' body draped over the horse, and they realize what's going on. Then here comes Tammy Rose trying to start trouble, telling Tara that she needs to bring someone to justice for what happened to Jesus. I'm like, Tammy Rose, she knows, chill out. Henry learns from Daryl that Jesus is dead. I really don't feel sorry for Lydia at this point. But if her story follows the comic books, then I'll change my mind. But even when I read the comics, I didn't feel sorry for Lydia at this point. Negan finds a clothing store, and then he finds a flashlight that works via a crank. He finds a leather jacket, and then some very hungry little doggies find him, they chase him, and he's forced to hide. Then he finds a door, he frees himself, only to find a walker, pushes the walker into the store, closes the door, and the dogs become Walker Chow. Alden and Luke bond as they are traveling, and part of me felt like they were walking into a trap. I didn't want to be right, but at the end of the episode, obviously I was right, but I didn't want to be right at that point. But I wasn't 100% sure they were, but something about those arrows being stuck in the tree didn't seem right to me. Call it a gut feeling, but I really wanted them to turn back. Part of me was saying, well, maybe they could, you know, somehow cross paths with Michonne in the group, or maybe they could contact each other. And then I remembered, like, how could they do that without the walkie-talkies? And don't forget, they don't have cell phones. Think about it, Sage Valentine. So Lydia was lying her behind off to Tara, Michonne, and Daryl. It's pretty apparent that she's lying. She's keeping things from them. Michonne decides that she wants to head back to Alexandria with the group that she brought with her. And she wants to tell the Alexandrians about the Whispers. She said that keeping Michonne at the hilltop is a risk. And if she doesn't talk, they're going to have to kill her. Sadiq pops in. I think Eugene's knee was popped out or something, and he pops it back into place. Eugene is talking to Rosita when Sadiq goes off to find a bandage, and he's telling Rosita that he loves her, so on and so forth. Rosita can't even react to that because she has to run outside and puke because she's pregnant. So her storyline is following the comic book storyline at this point. She has morning sickness. Sadiq apparently is the father of Rosita's baby, and Eugene overhears Rosita and Sadiq's conversation as he's sitting in there and he's just healing. And I heard some people on social media talking about these are the days of our lives. And I was like, why do they keep saying that? And then when I watched the episode again, I remember Eugene saying something about sands in the hourglass. Seriously, this whole situation is days of our lives because Rosita was messing with Sadiq. She's pregnant by Sadiq. Eugene still loves her, and she's with Father Gabriel. This whole situation is going to be so messy. But it's what we need to balance out the crazy that Alpha and the Whisperers are about to bring. You're going to need something to distract us for like 1 second. Henry's hungover. He's still in jail. He feels like being at the hilltop was supposed to help him learn who he is because he knew who he was at the kingdom. And I'm sitting here like, but Henry, you kind of wanted to leave the kingdom to head to the hilltop to kind of find yourself there. Henry, I just feel so sorry for Henry. He's so sweet and naive and not long for this world. He's another character that I feel like is going to die. And I feel like he's also teenage Carl from the comic books. Although I don't think he's going to have the story in full that Carl had. I said in full. Keep that in mind. Negan learns that the sanctuary was abandoned and left in disarray. FYI, we don't even know what happened to the sanctuary other than the fact that the last time we saw Carol, before the time jump, she was about to fight with some of the saviors. Some joined up with the Kingdom, Alexandria, and Hilltop. Don't forget, Carol killed some of the saviors when she set them on fire. But we don't know how Carol's battle ended. Hopefully, when we find out what happened between Maggie, Daryl, and Michonne, we find out also what happened between Carol and these saviors. Aaron tells Michonne that she was right and he didn't see it. They have exactly what they need, and Michonne's like she's sorry that he didn't see what she was talking about in time before Jesus died. Michonne's worried about Alden and Luke. She wonders what Daryl will do with Lydia and says that Daryl should help Tara run the hilltop. Daryl's just like, why is this responsibility with Lydia put on me? Michonne's kind of looking at him like, dude, you are the best judge of character that we have. Of course it's going to be you who deals with Lydia. She was like, we have to do what it takes so we don't have to bury any more of our people. I get the feeling they're going to have to bury some more people pretty soon. Negan looks pitiful, and I'd feel sorry for him if he didn't do what he did. That's all I got to say about that. We see Paul Jesus Rovia's funeral. Yes, I'm saying his full name because I've been calling him Jesus all this time, but I had to remind myself. In the comic books, he's known as Paul Jesus Monroe. The TV series, Paul Jesus Rovia. It's a sad funeral. A lot of people on social media are saying that they feel like the group should have mourned more and showed more sadness at this point, and I'm just like, they would if they didn't have to deal with Lydia and the Whisperers and all of this. So I feel like they're going to have to grieve, and then they're going to have to battle Alpha and the Whisperers soon. So we're going to see them eventually more. For Lydia, at this point, when I was reading the comic books, I was over Lydia. I'm just like, chick, just tell the truth. Henry tries to intervene, telling Daryl to calm down and to stop being mean to her, and Daryl tells him to shut up, and I was happy that he did, because Henry, he's capable of fighting these battles, but in truth, he's extremely naive and not long for this world. I'm not saying he's going to die. I haven't seen any spoilers about that. I'm just saying I don't feel like he's long for this world at all. So Lydia mentions her mom, and she said that her mom was a good person, and I'm just like, I don't believe that at all. And this is not because I read the comics. Just based on the fact that she's lying her behind off, I'm like, I don't believe you at all. Lydia continues to lie, or should I say only tell Daryl bits and pieces along with her lies. Daryl's done with Henry, who he sees is naive, and as I said before, Henry is. Lydia thanks Henry for saving her, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. I can see exactly where that storyline between them is going. And Henry says to her he had to, because he couldn't let Daryl kill her. And he learns that Lydia's name is Lydia. Meanwhile, Daryl's sitting outside of the cellar near the window, and he overhears their conversation. I should have known Daryl was going to do that. Negan's on a bike, and Judith fires a shot at him. See, she told him she was going to shoot him if she saw him again. Judith was right. There was nothing out there for him. Negan likes Judith, and he gives Judith back her compass. I always felt like Negan liked Judith when he picked her up when she was really small a couple seasons ago, and he wasn't going to hurt her. He was going to take her with him back to Alexandria. I never thought that he was going to hurt baby Judith. And Negan says to Judith that he's going to go back and get back into his cell. He tells Judith that she was right. And she was right. Now, Enid welcomes Magna to the hilltop as they stand on the wall looking out. She said that she's worried about Alden. She calls her relationship with Alden, I don't think she has a name for it. So I'm already worried about Alden with that. That means that he might not be long for this world, and I hope I'm wrong about that. Magna tells Enid that Luke's a survivor. Alden is in good hands. I'm just like, I don't know if they can handle what they're about to deal with, and I was right. Luke and Alden walked right into a trap. They're surrounded by walkers, or should I say whisperers, and they meet Miss Alpha, who's carrying replicas of Kimiko's arrows, and she kind of drops them. She comes up to them with a double-barrel shotgun. And now they're prisoners of the Whisperers. So let me know what you thought of this episode, what you think of the season so far, and where you think things are going to go. And shout out to all of those who have stopped watching the series but continue watching my reviews. You guys really should watch the episodes because they're pretty good. In my opinion, they're good. And I'm not just going to say that they're good just to say that they're good. Because there's some episodes of The Walking Dead that I didn't like, i.e. the parts where the governor was given a spotlight for like 2 or 3 episodes, and I was just kind of like, why do we need to know more about Philip Blake? Like, seriously? But anyways, I will be back here on Monday to review episode 10, as I said before, or if I haven't said it already, because sometimes when I do these videos, I tend to forget what I said previously, so bear with me. I will be uploading these reviews every Monday, and this is the only review that will be uploaded on a Wednesday. I love you all. Take care, and if I have to change that schedule, I'll let you know. Bye, guys. Love you all. Bye.